Welcome to Ghoulish Gab. Always spooky, always under 7 minutes, as long as we set a timer. Today, we are just talking about some of our favorite horror icons, gushing over them, giving you a couple facts that you may not know. That's about it. I'm going to start out with Bela Lugosi, who had a 50-year career in film, and you most definitely know him as Dracula.
Oh yeah.
His breakout role, something he was still known for all the way to the end. You know, at the end of his career, he did a lot of movies for Ed Wood. That something he's also known for. But one first interesting fact is he never wore fangs as Dracula. So if you watch that performance and pay attention to that,
I guess I
that's
never I guess I never noticed. He's so iconic. Like he is what we view Dracula as when you picture Dracula. So in
yep,
my brain, the rest of him is Dracula, so who cares if there's pointy teeth?
exactly. He did 18 films for Universal Studios, in 8 films total with Boris Karloff, another person famous for doing Universal Studio movies. Of course, he played fucking Frankenstein, but the two did not socialize off set, even though they did so many movies together, which was kind of
I would have
interesting.
I'd figure they'd be besties.
That's you just assume. Uh, he was also one of the founding members of the Screen Actors Guild back when that started, and 1997, he was immortalized on a postage stamp, if you want to call it that, in a famous monster movies series. And finally, just a fun fact, but it said that he was very fond of California wine and Coors beer. See, Dracula is just like us.
Um, so my horror icon is Ving Rhames. I love Ving Rhames. So he's not just a horror icon. I mean, he's been in a bunch of different television and movies, but you'll probably most likely remember him from Dawn of the Dead, The People Under the Stairs, and he was in Jacob's Ladder. And then a lot of people know him from the Mission Impossible series, but that's not horror, and I don't really
Right.
like those movies. But um, my fun fact that people might not know is that he is extremely nice. Like you look at him and you're like, oh, the gravelly voice, and then like the big muscles, and everybody's like, oh,
Right.
he seems like he might be intimidating. But he has been like, I was looking stuff up. Multiple fan encounters say that he was super sweet. He's apparently, I think he's very spiritual. I don't know what religion, but he's very spiritual. And in 1998, he won Best Actor in a television miniseries. And he went up on stage and he was crying. Like you can find the clip on YouTube. You can see literal tears and talking about how you do this because you love it. And then he calls out to Jack Lemmon, who was another actor that was like nominated, and then gave the Golden Globe to Jack Lemmon. He like made him take it. And then when Jack tried to give it back to him, he wouldn't take it back. They had to make him a duplicate, like make Ving a duplicate so that he
Oh,
could
wow.
so that Jack wouldn't have to give his other one back because Ving refused to take it. So, on top of just being a good actor and beautiful human being and super strong and super cool, he's also super duper sweet, and I love that.
That does sound nice. What a nice guy. Uh, we have to talk about Elvira, of course, the Mistress of the Dark. And the first horror film that she saw was House on Haunted Hill at age 7 or 8, which of course starred Vincent Price, who later in life she went on to have a wonderful friendship with. Her career started as a Las Vegas showgirl at 17. During those
Oh wow.
escapades, she had an encounter with Elvis Presley, who told her to get the heck out of Vegas and start a singing career. She did attempt that, eventually ended up back in LA doing improv with a group called the Groundlings, which included Paul Rubens. There, she developed the Valley Girl character, who was kind of the structure of Elvira. She found herself taking a job at a TV studio as a horror hostess, and the name Elvira was one that was drawn out of a coffee can. Everybody there who was working on the project threw in a name, and they pulled that one out, and that's how she ended up with the name.
It's funny to think that a name that is, I mean, in some households like ours, is like a household name, was pulled out of a
Yeah,
coffee can.
just out of a coffee can. That's it.
I love that. Another icon is an icon to me and is an icon to many. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
I Know What You Did Last Summer, Possession, The Grudge, Buffy, Scooby Doo, Veronica Decides to Die, Buffy. I'm just Buffy. She is Buffy.
Coffee.
Ugh. Um, she has some other lesser known facts about her. She was a competitive figure skater. If you didn't know that.
Yeah.
She also was discovered by a talent agent at age 4. We all kind of know her from like the 20, like when she was in her 20s, but she
Yeah.
has done over 100 television commercials in her career.
Wow.
And before she got into movies and then like becoming Buffy, she was also she won a daytime Emmy for being on, I believe it was it, hold on, I have it written down here. I think it was Days of Our Lives. Thought I had it written down, but I don't. But anyway, she went from like commercials to soaps to being one of the most like beautiful and inspiring characters in the world, known as Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I
Damn.
love her.
That's a lot of commercials. We are out of time. Why don't you tell us what you thought about our horror icon discussion today and tell us a couple of your favorites in the comments.